My name's John. I'm a first year out. 6 months ago I was sitting where you guys are in the lecture theatre listening to Marion give wonderful lectures, and I was thinking, you know, I just want to get out, and then freaking out because getting out means responsibility, it means a classroom of kids, it means proving myself as a teacher. I wasn't just scared, I was also excited. And then I got my first casual day, and I got another casual day at the same school, and that kind of led on to a position. They came to me after one of my casual days and said, look, we've got a position that you would you be interested in taking that? So I got a position in a suburb in Western Sydney, low SES and low demographic, a lot of Department of Housing, a lot of ESL, and a lot of I guess you'd call them struggling families. And yeah, so that's where I work. I work in the western suburbs of Sydney, and yeah. So I was given a really challenging class, not challenging behaviour-wise, although there are those. I was given a Year 6 class, which I have been told is quite hard first year out. But I've enjoyed the challenge. It's definitely been something that's been a learning curve for me. First term I was absolutely wrecked, and there were days where I would go home and I'd be like, that was ridiculously hard. Do I really want to be a teacher? You do think like that, and you will think like that. There are days, not only as a casual but also as a full-time teacher, where you will think, do I really want to be a teacher? Is the stress that I have to put up with worth it? But let me assure you it is. If you really love the job and you really love being a teacher, then the stress won't matter, because in the end you're doing what you love. And yeah, I've got kids in here, all different abilities. I've got kids in my class who can, you know, recite the alphabet backwards and do all their times tables, and I've got kids who can't add 6 and 8 together. So it's a real challenge as a first year out to kind of encompass teaching that's engaging for both your Emilys, your bright kids, and your little Mikeys who can't add 6 and 8 together. So yeah. I don't have any that have diagnoses, but I have kids who need alterations and allowances in their education. For example, I have a visual timetable in my classroom for students. There's one in particular who needs to know what's going on in the day. He can't actually handle anything outside the normal. So for him, the visual timetable is key. And I know that if there's something on there that we don't get to, or something changes throughout the day and I haven't had a chance to change it on the visual timetable, I know that he's going to pick it up and he's going to go, but we're meant to be doing this now, not that. This is what's meant to be happening now. I have others who need very explicit instructions when they're sitting there, and when I'm teaching, they need you to explain every concept explicitly. You can't just go over there and do that. You need to actually explain. You need to go over there, get your bag, go over here, and step by step. So they actually need step-by-step instructions. I have other students who need visual cues and aids like that to help them in their education. I've learnt that it's hard. It's hard work being sure that all students are catered for and their needs are met, and that you need to understand that not everyone learns the same. So while I'm doing things on the board and writing down, I need to also be talking for those students who learn auditory as well as visually, and those who need to see hands-on examples. I need to be able to allow for those students to learn in the learning style. And you know, you've got your multiple intelligences, and you've got your Bloom's taxonomy, and you've got all that theory that you need to be constantly putting in place into your classroom so that the best outcome can be produced and your students can have the best opportunity at succeeding in the classroom, because it doesn't matter what demographic these kids are from. It doesn't matter if they're from western suburbs of Sydney or the North Shore in Sydney. They deserve the best education possible, and as a teacher it is your responsibility to cater for those kids and their needs. Yep, so I have one student in particular. I get an hour of support for him a week, and if he's either not here or having a really good day, that then becomes general support. So I have an SLSO come into the classroom and they help out with him.
Do you want to tell those students what SLSO stands for?
Sure, so School Learning Support Officer. So basically they come in and they are there for a particular student, and they help out in the classroom. They help sit down with that student and focus that student and make sure that that student is actually on task, which allows me as the teacher to then focus on my other students. Not that I don't need to focus on them, but it frees me up, so I'm not having to constantly go over and say to them, you need to be on task, how can I help you? And then I have other students go, oh, can I get your help, sir? Oh, hang on, I need to work with Mikey first, so yeah.
So Mikey gets it because of where he's at academically?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So as a stage, we collaborate quite well. We wrote our maths program together. We're always talking. We do our assessments together. So each Year 6 class does the same assessment. So then it's kind of, we know where all the Year 6 are at compared to the same assessment task. We'll often change our teaching styles if we need to accommodate for other kids. Like, so if we have a split class, so we have a 5-6 class and they've just had NAPLAN, so we had Year 6s from the 5-6 class in our classroom, which helped kind of, you know, lessen the burden on that teacher. But yes, because we were collaborating, that helped us, because they knew what we were doing, we knew what they were doing, so there wasn't kind of, we've already covered this, sir, we've already done this, we've already done that. It was kind of able to flow on, and the education was able to be the same across the classes. Not as yet. We've started to kind of put things like contracts, and where he makes the decisions. So there's 3 things that he doesn't like doing in the classroom, which happen to be maths, English and free writing. There's 3 rewards if he does that. So I know one of them is Minecraft, I know one of them is there's like styrofoam balls which make shapes and stuff, and there's another one, and then there's 3 consequences. So he knows what's expected of him, and he's agreed to that. He came up with the idea, so he was involved. So I wouldn't say it's a kind of unofficial IEP, but it's kind of, he knows what's expected of him in the classroom. So the visual timetable is really good. Having the classroom rules and only having a few, so I think I've got, what have I got, 6 rules, and that's kind of, yep, sure. So my 6 rules are put our hands up to speak, always try our best, listen to the person speaking, be kind to others, look after our property, and keep the classroom tidy. And it's really important to have them and refer back to them, so that the students know that they are actually important and that they actually matter in the classroom, and they're not just there to kind of have something on the wall. So having your expectations clear and being consistent across the classroom is also important. So even with your Mikeys and your Emilys, excuse me, even with your Mikeys and your Emilys, that Mikey knows that what's expected of him is also expected of Emily, and vice versa, so that you don't get inequalities in the classroom. Keep going. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and when you go out into the world, as a casual, but also as a first year out teacher, make a good impression, go in there with enthusiasm and actually love what you do, because if you don't, then don't do teaching. If you don't love what you do, if you're not passionate and not willing to, you know, travel and actually put in the hard yards, don't do it. Go and do something else, because we don't want teachers out there who are ho-hum about teaching. We want teachers out there who care about kids, and we want teachers out there who are willing to, you know, think outside the box in terms of education.